evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for pro wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. Today there will be a monumental collision as All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling will go head-to-head at Forbidden Door later tonight. But that is not the collision that we are talking about here today, because we are going to be talking about last night's episode of AEW Collision, where we found out Darby Allin and Sting's mystery partner for tonight. New Japan star Hiroshi Tanahashi was in action, and CM Punk's became AEW's version of John Cena. For such a packed show, we need a stacked panel. One which is so stacked, I guess you could say it's forbidden. But joining me first, we have Clark Taylor. How are you, Clark?
I'm doing great. It's a pay-per-view Sunday. I'm stoked about it. It's going to be, I think, a fun night. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to here. I thought Collision last night was solid enough. Dynamite was good as well. I'm excited to get into it.
Absolutely. We have a lot to talk about, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Also joining us, we have Shad. How are you today, Shad?
What's going on, fellas? Man, I'm here on a Sunday. Stayed up last night to watch AEW Collision live for the first time, even though it's only been 2 weeks. But got a lot to discuss. Excited to be on a podcast with y'all. Excited to be on my first podcast with my brother who you about to introduce next to.
Absolutely. And that man is Chaos. How are you, Chaos?
What's up? Happy Sunday, everybody. You know what that means. Thank you for the pleasantry, Shad. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's a good night for Collision as well as Forbidden Door and everything else that's been happening up in the wrestling world. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight to it.
And let's get right into what opened AEW Collision, and that was a Chris Jericho promo. So originally this was meant to be Sting and Darby Allin coming out, but Chris Jericho took it upon himself to come out instead. And it was just him and Suzuki. Sammy Guevara was noticeably absent. Jericho then later revealed it's because Sammy Guevara is jealous of him and Suzuki's friendship, so he decided to no-show the show. Sting and Darby Allin then came out and revealed that Jericho's partner is the guy. Their partner to face Jericho is the guy who beat Jericho at the Tokyo Dome, and that man, a lot of us predicted it, is Tetsuya Naito, and the crowd went nuts for Naito. So we now know that Sting and Darby Allin will be teaming with Naito to take on Sammy Guevara, if he turns up, Chris Jericho, and Suzuki tonight at Forbidden Door, and that six-man tag is certain to be a lot of fun. But what did you think about this opening segment, Clark?
I really enjoyed it. Jericho and Sting's back and forths have been excellent, I think. Honestly, Sting having the mic time has been great. I was really, really happy when he took over the mic for Darby, to be honest. That not that Darby's not solid, but just Sting was awesome. And then when Naito came out, I was watching that segment with my dad, and it's funny. He looked at me and he was like, to be totally honest, I don't know who this guy is, but I like him. Like, yeah. He looks awesome. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're going to like him. He's a great addition to the match. It's kind of what we all predicted, but I was still happy to see it and still popped. It's one of those things that, telegraphed or not, it was still interesting and exciting.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, the crowd reaction for Naito made him feel like a big deal. So even if you didn't know who he was, he felt important and really felt like he was adding to the match and that it was a big deal. So I'm certainly excited for that one tonight. But another thing which excited me on the show was Miro's promo. Of course, Miro returned last week, and this week he cut a pre-recorded promo, and it was excellent. I loved it. He renounced his god and his wife, meaning Lana is now on the market. And I really do hope they go pedal to the metal on this Miro push now, because he is arguably the most underutilized talent on the AEW roster, in my opinion. He's great on the mic. He feels like a star. He's amazing in the ring. honestly, push Miro to the moon. I really think they should. But Chaos, what did you think about Miro's promo on Collision?
Oh, it was great seeing these promos back again. When he was the the chosen one, I can't remember what the nickname one. It was the God's champion. Doing the promos, they were great. I loved it, and he always has to make that subtle, well, not subtle reference to his beautiful wife is and obviously he carried that on, but obviously it's a little change in this. He's going solo without God this time, so he's still the redeemer, but he's only in it for himself. And I just loved it, man. The guy hasn't lost it. It was weird how he just disappeared, but I'm just glad he's back on our TV screens because he deserves the world. Do I say that he should go for the big title? Not yet. It wouldn't make sense because that'll be two heels, but he definitely needs to be a champion very soon. As I said, my pick is definitely for him to take the title from Orange Cassidy. That's one hill that I don't think Cassidy can climb. If they do meet up and they make Orange win, it'll be a total travesty in my opinion. As good as Orange Cassidy has been, but he's had his time with the title. I think he's the next person to take it from him. If it's not Pac, it will have to be Miro. But yeah, loved it from beginning to end. I hope they have like an actual line, like a timeline of what they're gonna do with him, and not just be here for a couple months and then disappeared again. He's on this show. This Collision seems to be his show. Take him all the way, and then make him be one of the front faces of that program, and then just take it from there. So, dibs for him to win the international title from Orange Cassidy.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you there, and I almost make the mistake all the time too. I almost literally every time I talk about it, I almost say Intercontinental.
Yeah,
that's just what we're used to saying. But we've got
close.
David Sheldon in the comments here. Shout out to David, and he is saying Kevin Kelly and Nigel McGuinness have been doing a really good job of explaining to the new viewers who the New Japan Pro Wrestling guys are. Of course, Kevin Kelly is an expert, but he gets info across so well, and I 100% agree with you. I mean, we know he can't say Andrade El Idolo, but apart from that, I really think this commentary team has been great. I think they're getting too much hate because of that one thing. I think they're working. I think they are working well together.
He made up for it with he got it right last night, but there was another name
got it
that
wrong again.
I loved his little freak out though when Jericho hit the desk with the bat on the way.
Yeah,
that was great.
He butchered Takeshita's name though.
Yeah,
he said Takeshita.
In fairness, we've all made that mistake.
Yeah, we have.
Man, I botched it so bad the first time.
I mean, there was one time I think on this show a couple of months ago where I tried to say the name 3 times in a row and I still got it wrong. But we're getting it right now. We're getting it right now. But let's talk about something which a lot of people thought that AEW didn't get right last night, and that was Swerve Strickland facing Hiroshi Tanahashi. And this was a very thrown together match, right? And you know me, I'm not usually a fan of matches that have no meaning. I'm just not. However, the day before a pay-per-view, when you have a lot of these New Japan guys in town, I don't hate it. I'm not going to complain about it. A lot of people thought that Tanahashi looked a bit slow in all of this. And truthfully, that's the Tanahashi he's been now for the past 2-3 years. This is nothing new. I think people are watching his Okada matches from quite a few years back now, and I think that's the same Tanahashi we're going to get. I mean, the guy is really, really getting on a bit. In fairness to him, he's still working well. It's just a lot slower, a lot more of a slower pace. However, at the end of the match, he did slip on the rope. And it's unclear whether or not that was planned. I don't think it was because of the reaction of the ref. But if it wasn't planned, then Swerve did amazing because Swerve ran up to the top rope like he recovered, threw a couple of punches, and then took a punch and fell back down. So it made it look like it was planned, which is just exceptional if that was the case. And I think that was the case too. And after the match, MJF's theme hit, but it was just a pre-recorded promo for him. And he said that he's only competing tomorrow if he opens the show because he doesn't want to watch any other matches from any of the New Japan talent. But talking about people who didn't like this Tanahashi match, Shard, I know you were not a fan of it.
Yeah, the match itself I wasn't a big fan of. And I understand your points. Age is definitely a factor when it comes to the human body. I mean, when you're 40 plus, 45 plus in his sake, I think you're not moving the same way. You're not wrestling at the same level as you are years upon years ago when you are younger. So I understand that. But I mean, the match itself, it just felt very clunky. He had a lot of, he was very slow within the match. And my thing is, like, for fans who aren't familiar with him, who are sole fans of AEW, who see him going in tomorrow into the main event, fighting MJF, and this is kind of a little preview of that, you probably are not as hyped for the match. And you probably are going to lower your expectations in the championship match just because you see his opponent and you might not be as thrilled. I mean, in regards to the positive notes, I think Swerve is I think he definitely carried the match last night, and he's such a star, man. Like, I really hope that this leads to, him obviously taking a loss. We knew that was going to go in, especially when he had when Tanahashi has a match going against MJF. But I want more for Swerve, man. I feel like the dude, in my opinion, is like one of the top heels next to MJF and Christian Cage on AEW. I mean, the guy presents himself like an absolute superstar. Like, even last night, man, walking in that jacket he had that joint was fresh, man. I like this jacket a lot. And I think he did stuff like you said, with that spot. He has he's very high. His IQ is very good in the ring. And I feel like he deserves an opportunity after, this pay-per-view is done on the next circuit to, keep him pushing up the ladder on AEW. The MJF promo at the end was awesome. I love that he's just calling New Japan an indie show in with a bunch of Japanese wrestlers. I think it's really funny. I think him showing the I don't care attitude towards it is phenomenal. And he plays his character so well. So I'm still going to be excited to watch them in the main event. But like I said, I'm not going to hold it to the highest expectations to be some 5-star match. Definitely going to have to lower it a little bit. But
yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat as you, where they had high expectations for this, and now they're having second thoughts about it. But we have a couple of comments here. Firstly, we got Bailey, who agrees with you that Swerve's been getting a lot of TV time lately, and he loves to see it. And yeah, Swerve is brilliant. He was brilliant in WWE, and especially his days in NXT, and he's been brilliant in AEW so far. So hopefully he continues to get
in that indie run before he got signed.
Oh yes,
to NXT.
Absolutely.
him and Matt Riddle is still one of my favorite wrestling matches. Was it from Defy, I think, where they had the match?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember seeing that at the time. Was it WrestleMania weekend, that one?
I think so. I don't remember the exact date of it. I don't remember. Man, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But I just know I tend to rewatch that match here and there. That match is incredible. If for the fans on YouTube, if you haven't watched that, definitely tune in to that match.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. We've also got Drizzy. Shout out to Drizzy. And he is saying that was a thrown together match, but an absolute banger. So he disagrees. He really enjoyed that match. And perhaps it is something where that slower style of match, some people love, some people don't like as much. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how Tanahashi versus MJF is tonight. But talking about somebody who a lot of people love, it's Andrade El Idolo, or as Kevin Kelly calls him, Andre El Idolo. he took on Brody King last night, and Andrade got a huge reaction in Toronto, and he feels very, very important right now. And just like Miro, I hope they don't waste this momentum right here. The two put on a really, really, really great match until the finish, right? And the finish where I had a bit of an issue with it. Buddy Matthews attacked Andrade, resulting in a DQ, seemingly as Andrade was about to get the victory and lock in the figure eight. And I understand this from point of view of, okay, the House of Black's viewpoint, they didn't want Brody King to take the loss, so they wanted to protect him instead. But he still technically took the loss. I'm all for DQ finishes when they make sense, right? From a storyline perspective. I even said in the MJF Adam Cole match a few weeks ago, I would have been fine if that was a DQ. But this was a match where it just did not need to be a DQ at all. And it kind of just ruined it for me. It really did. Because if there was just that clean finish and then, Buddy Matthews took him out literally the second that Brody King, taps out, that would have had the same impact and there would have been a clean finish and it would have been, a good finish to the match. But Clark, what did you think about this encounter?
You Thunder Stealer. What in the world? So at least thankfully I, from memory, have stuff to say about this heading into Buddy versus Andrade El Idolo, which I can say properly there. Did I get that right, guys? I think I did. I said of the House of Black, you'd expect Malachi to be the one that stands out. But in my eyes, Brody King has been kind of the standout for the length of their run. He's been outstanding. He's been awesome. He seems to be the most threatening of the three. Especially with the image of him with the submission over in the Battle Royal win over Darby. Are you kidding? It's violent and it's great. Heading into the Buddy match, I said, I think Buddy's as talented as anyone. Maybe it's time for him to shine. I don't know if they listened too much, but like Brody King and Andrade El Idolo should have ended clean one way or the other.
Yeah.
and Buddy can run in after. And you can still build him, but I didn't need him to jump in when he did because I don't think Brody King needed him to. And my fear is either number one, it doesn't make sense and that's not what they're hinting at. Or two, worse yet, they're going to prematurely rip somebody out of the House of Black down the road and build towards Buddy and Brody. As great as that one-off match would be, I don't know where they go from there because as a group is where I think they're most effective. Outside of that, though, it was awesome to see Andrade back for a second week in a row. The wrestling was high quality. The length of it was entertaining. And just curious to see where they go from here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you there. High quality wrestling. And Brody King is highly underrated, 110%. But now let's talk about somebody who for most of his career has been very underrated, and that is Christian Cage. And last night on AEW Collision, he had a promo where he come out to address the TNT Championship. And of course, Luchasaurus won the title last week. So it's actually Luchasaurus who's the champion, not Christian Cage, but he's acting like the champion. That's the gimmick here. Christian Cage announced that open challenges will no longer happen, but he's going to make the belt prestigious again. And then he cut a typical heel promo in his home country about, how he now hates this place and he's the only successful person from there. And I'm kind of just tired of seeing these cheap heel promos. I mean, listen, if there was another, bit of direction to this, if he did that to get the crowd to turn on him, and then he said something else, and he was like, I'm now the TNT champion. Luchasaurus has given it to me, or even they just set up another feud. If they did something like that, I'd be all good with it, right? But they didn't. It was just literally this entire promo was just him coming out saying he was the champion. Well, not even saying he was the champion, hinting he was the champion, then cutting a heel promo about how he no longer likes his hometown, which is the exact same thing The Miz did on Monday. And I think we've seen it in a couple of other places this week as well, this exact same promo. This just didn't develop the story. Yeah, Logan Paul. That was the other one I was thinking of.
Well, it's the WWE that did it in the same night. At least there was only one last night. Oh, no, I guess Jericho called them idiots because he's from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But he's from Winnipeg. He's not from Toronto, so there's some nuance.
But it's
not the same thing
over and over. But it basically is. It basically is. This promo, no story was developed in. They achieved nothing. Nothing moved on whatsoever. Okay, the crowd didn't like him. Well, it's not like it advanced the story. If he got the crowd to not like him and then advanced the story, then yeah, sure, I wouldn't even make a fuss about the fact we keep seeing this cheap heat promo. But it's the fact that just nothing was advanced. But Chaos, do you agree? Do you disagree?
I mean, I kind of like this new direction they're going with the TNT title, if anything, because it's actually trying to refocus um what they're trying to go for the TNT title. Obviously, everyone's pretty much have written off that title, and rightfully they should, because the prestige of that title is completely been diminished, in my opinion, and it's going to take quite a bit for it to go for. So in terms of a story, I do feel like obviously what they're going for is that Christian Cage is obviously taking all the shine from Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus will eventually come out and just say like, "Yo, what the hell are you doing? I'm doing all the hard work. Why are you taking all all the glory?" And then it will eventually Luchasaurus. That's their way of making Luchasaurus turn heel and face Christian Cage for the title. I think that's what they're going for. It's kind of long winded. I get that, but I do see what you mean. It's been a staple in wrestling. The easiest way to get heat is to go for the town, whether that's where you're from, or cuss out the basketball team that don't win anything, or it's just it's almost a tradition. It was played out, especially this week, but I don't think it's something that's going to change in in the foreseeable future, because it's just the easiest way to just without sounding too mundane and boring, it's best to go for the juggler and talk about the hometown, or like I said, the sports team. So for like, I didn't mind it. Christian Cage is a very capable a person on the mic, and it definitely feels it makes Luchasaurus more interesting, because Luchasaurus, like, I don't know how good he is on the mic. If he ever, I don't recall him ever talking on the mic when he was like Jurassic Express
Barely,
and stuff,
yeah,
barely. So like, clearly that's not his forte. So having Christian Cage be his spokesperson, and not only that, take all the credit and just try to relive his glory days through Luchasaurus, I think it could make a very interesting storyline. It all depends on how they land it. I'm not bored of it yet. I'm not rolling my eyes at it. There's not that yet, because Christian Cage is more than capable. And then you just got to see how it takes from there. This open challenge thing, I do like it. It's quite refreshing, because that's what it's been going on for ages. It's always been open challenges for the TNT title. So this new take is almost like a, is going to try and make it like the part-time title or something. I don't know what it's going to do, but I'm so far. I think there's still gas in there. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
I mean, it's only one weekend,
Also,
right?
CM
I do
Punk
hope.
didn't do it in Chicago. He didn't do it this week.
No, he didn't do it, but not everybody's done
He
it.
could have.
But no, my point is, if they just did, I don't even have an issue with it happening specifically. The reason I have an issue with it is that was all the promo was. It didn't develop a storyline, massively. And we got Kobe Galanzowski in the comments here saying, "Is heels cutting heel promos in hometowns a lost art?" Well, a lost art implies that nobody does it anymore, and tons of people do it. So, but I do get your point. It's we're gonna have to. I don't have an issue with it when it's done right and it advances something. Like if Christian was afraid that they just cheer for him, like they would have done, yes, okay, do that. But then advance the storyline after you've done that, and make people be excited to see what happens next week. Coming out of this, I've been given no reason to care what's next. But let's talk about up next. Let's talk about Willow Nightingale, because she took on Nyla Rose in the Owen Hart Cup round 1 last night. And this was, it was a solid enough match. It was nothing, amazing, but it was solid enough. And Willow is advancing to the next round, and I'm really, really happy to see her getting a push at the minute. I am. Of course, she's the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion. She's going to be taking on Toni Storm for the AEW Championship tonight. So she certainly had a bit of a busy few weeks. And then after the match, the Outcasts attempted to take out Willow, but Sky Blue made the save. Overall, again, nothing to go out your way to watch, but it was fun. But Shad, what was your thoughts on this match?
The match itself was whatever. I mean, slower match. Not a whole lot in the match side that I can rave about it. I mean, it's cool. Always good to see Nyla Rose get some TV time. I feel like she's underutilized on the roster quite a bit. DC native, shout outs to her. But always cool to see her back on the TV screen. But yeah, I mean, the main focus is just Willow Knight, and we're seeing her continuously rise. And I've been one who's been high on her for a minute. I feel like she has a certain star power as just a super over baby face, could kind of be a baby face in the women's division as Bianca Belair is for WWE, where the fans love her. She puts on great matches, and I mean, yeah, she's a champion. She has a title on her waist. She beat Mercedes Moné. I feel that the smartest thing for AEW was ride the hot hand of just how much of popularity she's gained from that. So it's promising to see them going through that. And I think they did a good job at the end of the match with having the Outcast run in and, try to do what they got to do leading into this Toni Storm and Willow match going on tonight. And having another person that they're slowly building up to in Sky Blue, I feel that's promising. What my hope is that them two are kind of becoming a bit of an alliance in this at the moment, but they're both in the separate brackets, if I'm not mistaken. And I'd like for them two to make it to the finals and them having just great match, pure competitive nature in the Owen Hart tournament, and that being the end all for both of them, because I think both of them deserve to be in a marquee match like that and kind of help them catapult to the next level. I think both competitors are great in the ring. I've seen Sky Blue develop a lot more within these last few months, last few weeks, from where she was a year ago or whenever she got signed. So, I mean, you got to keep doing that, man. You got your women's division, you got talent in it. You need to find ways to put them in position and create new stars. And I think they're doing a pretty good job with both of those ladies. And I'd like overall with every sequence in the match, I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, I mean, we got Bailey in the comments who agrees with you, and he wants Sky Blue to get to the final of the Owen Hart Cup too, and he wants Sky Blue to win it. And I mean, I love your idea about just being a competitive match between Willow and Sky Blue. However, I'm beginning to get a feeling that perhaps, in typical pro wrestling fashion, one of them, well, probably Sky Blue will turn heel or something on Willow before that happens, and then this turns into a feud. Perhaps Sky Blue costs Willow tonight. Oh no, that's gonna happen, isn't it? Oh no. But yeah, no, I mean, I would like it to be friendly competition, like you said, as well as an Owen Hart Cup final. That would be really, really great. And we got Drizzy in the comments here saying Nyla is underrated and also a great promo. I do agree. She gets way too much hate because she is fantastic.
She's so funny. They don't ever let her show her charismatic side on the TV screen. She's hilarious on Twitter. She's funny in those Ethan Page, toy hunt videos. I feel like they should give her an opportunity to show her character work more on it too. So I definitely agree with Drizzy on that. Yeah,
110%. But now let's talk about Scorpio Sky. He had this return video package type thing last week, and this week now he cut a promo backstage. And he basically said that his entire time in AEW, he's not been at 100%. He let the pressure get to him, but even when he wasn't at 100%, he was still, he won the TNT Championship. He was the first ever AEW Tag Team Champion. So now, he knows who he is again. He's going to do a whole lot more. And this was a brilliant promo, and I've been a big fan of Scorpio Sky over the years. But I'm going to go straight back to you, Shad. What did you think about this promo?
Man, oh man, oh man. Where has my guy Scorpio Sky been missing, bro? I'm such a big Scorpio Sky fan. I remember watching him initially just when they had the whole SCU thing with him on AEW. I think I'm just thinking, man, this guy has so much star quality. He's somebody who can do it on both sides as a great promo, charismatic, but also an incredible in-ring worker. I thought the promo was great. I think he's reminding everybody like what his accolades are. It's a good promo to kind of reintroduce him to the fans, and talking about, hey man, I got the belts. I've won gold, multiple gold on AEW. Collision is a new show. I feel like it's one of those opportunities to get guys who've been underutilized a fresh start to kind of recharge them into the AEW roster and on weekly television. And I mean, I think he's somebody that's well deserving. He's been with them for a while from the beginning of it, and I think they re-signed him a little bit ago. Let's get him some momentum as well, man. There's new people on the roster now from when we've seen him last wrestle. There's some new heels in the roster. He's kind of a tweener type of dude. He could play a great heel too. We never really got anything from that, like with the faction with him and Ethan Page. Like I feel like there's just a lot of like meat on the bone from previous stuff that got left out, but he's looking to be more of a motivated babyface now. We got fresh matchups. Let's give my man Scorpio Sky a shot.
100% agree with you, because he is awesome. He's been highly underrated for years and years and years. Now we got Drizzy in the comments saying, "This is the worst town I have ever been in." And every time I go to my girlfriend's house, I always make that same joke to wind her up. But yeah,
the difference is you weren't joking. No, I'm just playing.
No, I'm
joking but serious.
Yeah. But now let's talk about the big headline, the title of this video: CM Punk, the draw himself. Because of course he teamed up with FTR last night to take on Bullet Club Gold and the Guns. And I've got to mention this real quick, right? The show opened with a backstage promo from both teams, and it felt very 80s, and I loved it. It was a fantastic thing just before the intro hit. That was just perfect for me. It was actually one of my favorite things about the show, and I hope that's something they continue to do on Collision, because it makes it feel a lot different to AEW Dynamite with just little tweaks like that. But then when CM Punk came out, when Cult of Personality hit, the crowd was booing like crazy. There was just tons and tons of boos, and he was doing the thing with his ear. He clearly expected it. He wasn't surprised at all. And then once he got to the ring and the theme stopped, that's when the crowd were divided. Half of them were chanting, "CM Punk, CM Punk," and the other half were just going, "Boo!" And I think this is great. Some people are like, "Oh no, AEW would be so annoyed the fact that he's getting booed and getting cheered when they're trying to push him as a face." Well, here's the thing. Nothing matters in wrestling as long as you're getting a reaction. So as long as you're getting a reaction, you're fine. And CM Punk got the biggest reaction of last night. Yes, some of it was negative, even though he's, a face. But so what? John Cena was the exact same way, and that is why he's basically now become AEW's version of John Cena, which is hilarious because, of course, that was the exact opposite of what he wanted to be his entire career. But I love this. I really do. And as long as he's getting a reaction, that's a great sign and a great thing for AEW. The crowd was then on fire for the entire match, far louder than they'd been for the rest of the show. And the match got a similar amount of time to the tag match did last week. However, this week's tag match, it was a 4-on-4, not a 3-on-3, but it felt a lot more faster pace. And I really, really enjoyed it. And Bullet Club Gold got that victory with Jay White pinning Ricky Starks. And of course, my main complaint last week was how Jay White was being booked during the match. He did not feel like a star at all. However, this week, he certainly felt like a star. He looked amazing in it. He had a great, great showing, and he got the pin in a match with CM Punk in it. So I honestly am so happy that Jay White's now being pushed and being put into a good position. And I love this match, and it was easily my favorite part of last night's AEW Collision show. But Chaos, I'll head to you first. What did you think about this main event match?
Oh man, what a way to end another great episode of Collision. I agree. This was probably the best part of the show. Let me just start from the beginning. So obviously, I'm glad that the Guns. I love that entrance from the Guns. Ever since they did it the first time against FTR, it was phenomenal. Before then, I absolutely hated them, and then as soon as they started playing the Many Man theme song, I was just like, "Yep, that's me done. Yeah, I love them right now. That's sick." The entrance doesn't hit as good as with their current entrance. I think TK needs to spend more of that money to get that license for the 50 Cent theme song, because that just fit them perfectly. And yeah, the spitting out when they would like doing the hand gestures of the Guns, love it, absolutely love it. The match was great. Love the verbal trash talk that Punk and Jay White was just having throughout the match. Punk going Rick Rude on on Jay White a couple times, and then Jay White just aiming a gun at CM Punk's forehead. This one definitely made Jay White feel important. I agree. It definitely made him feel like a star in this match. It was pretty good for her. I did feel a bit. It didn't feel as like on point as the last week's one. It was still good. That dive that flipping Cash Wheeler did, Jesus Christ!
Oh yeah,
yo, he came out like a rocket. I was like, "What are you aiming for? The Guns or Road D? Like, what were you doing?"
What happened to no flips, all fists?
Yeah,
it was just like a torpedo. Oh, it's just crazy. But yeah, other than that, hopefully Obi's all right. But yeah, other than that, it was good. I'm glad that Jay White, and not just that, also Bullet Club Gold got a W. They actually feel like there's someone that you should be watching out for. And yeah, Jay White getting the pin, and it looks like it's official that the Guns are part of Bullet Club Gold right now. But
well, they didn't even make that clear though. That's the thing. I know they did, because in the end they didn't do the two sweet together, but they did the gun symbol together. But that's the same symbol the Guns do anyway.
I guess, yeah.
Diet Bullet Club? Maybe they have a different hand signal.
No,
maybe
it's true, but that's the signal the Guns do anyway. So I'm like, we still don't really know. It's just confusing.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they do end up being part of Bullet Club Gold. I mean, they need members, man.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, they need members. Just put them in there, and then just like it fits. It's better than what they would when they were in the firm. So this is more their kind of bag. So just put them in there, and just see where it goes. And then see what CM Punk is doing. I'm more curious to see how the crowd is going to receive Punk in this one, because I agree, he got booed right out the building in this one, and I think it's even going to be even worse so tonight at Forbidden Door. We all know that Punk is more likely going to win his match tonight. It's going to be very diverse. But also I want to know what's going to happen backstage, because effectively the whole of the Elite is backstage. How is that? Don't be surprised if you're going to hear some stuff coming out, but it's good.
I mean, Eddie Kingston in an interview today kind of played the entire situation down, saying it's kind of like he basically said that everything's fine backstage since Punk's returned. And most people on the roster are fine with both parties. But who knows? Who knows indeed, because we all know what happened at All Out the last time the Elite and CM Punk were in the same building. But yeah, Drizzy's in the comments saying, the Guns officially part of Bullet Club Gold, as commentary didn't acknowledge it either. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, but, they're called the Guns as well. It's just perfect for Bullet Club. But they are taking the time to make it official, so just do it. Give them, the Bullet Club t-shirt, their version of the Bullet Club t-shirt, because obviously they have a slightly different version for each member, and I think it's a perfect fit. But what about you, Clark? Are you glad to see the Guns joining Bullet Club?
You mean the Diet Bullet Club?
Bullet Club Gold, Light. Actually.
Yeah, Bullet Club Light, right? It's the low-calorie version. I mean, I don't know. I guess I am. They need people. The Chaos made an excellent point there. I agree with that 100%. Maybe big people too would be good, so that they're a little more threatening as a group. It was nice to see Switchblade look good. I would have preferred if Juice on the finishing sequence had hit Ricky Starks with a weapon to protect Starks. I hated having to see Starks have to take that fall there. He shouldn't be the fourth guy in CMFTR taking that fall. I loved how much time Punk actually spent in the ring. I think that was I was impressed by that. I kind of expected for an 8-man tag match that it would be dominated by the other 3 members of the team as far as like time in as the legal man, and Punk had as much as anyone. As far as the crowd reaction, he's so good at pro wrestling. You can't even make it up. And it really doesn't matter whether it's a little like back when Bret Hart was a baby in Canada and a heel in the US, or there's been tons of things similar to this. I mean, British Bulldog got cheered at Wembley in 92. They're heading right back there in August this year for the first time since. Obviously we all know the story about Bret carrying him in that match and winning. But yeah, at the end of the day, Bulldog would have been the heel anywhere else but Wembley. And it's fine. It's good because no matter what, he gets a reaction. And the guy's a genius. I mean, he goes with the Bret Hart inspired pants out of the gates, then the Bret Hart inspired trunks in the second one. That's like 2 action figures. It's right out of the Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio playbook. More money for me. And it's just, the guy's Chicago brilliant.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we got Kobe here in the comments in Bullet Club bronze. Oh, fair enough. I mean, that kind of is how it feels like, to be fair. But we're gonna have to wait and see if it does improve. Let's not judge it too early. But I do like your shout, Clark. A bigger guy, a guy like Bad Luck Fale over in Japan. Yep. Somebody like that. They do need their own version.
We're gonna get Sidnam Singh.
Perhaps. I mean, I think he's a little occupied, but I mean, Shad, very quickly, do you have anybody who you'd like to see be added to Bullet Club Gold at all?
Before I get into that, a few weeks ago, Clark can attest. I said the quote, "Man, bullets going to guns." So I've been waiting for this, man. As a battle rapper who appreciates gun gestures when he raps out. I appreciate them throwing them up, but I want them to join it. I like the gun club a lot, man. Them dudes are great. Adding more members, I can see maybe adding one more person, probably a heavy. Who they would add on the AEW roster, I'm not sure, man. It's got to be someone who's not really doing too much. I mean, maybe like if Big Bill wasn't occupied with all of that, he could have been a person that would make it. You can even throw Lee in there too. Why not? I'm not sure. I'd have to really think about it, but I feel like they could use maybe like 1 or 2 more guys on them. In regards to the whole main event, I thought it was great. I think CM Punk played off the boos and stuff like he does, man. He's a vet. He knows he's ready for all this, man. So I think he did a great job, and the match was fun. I don't like Ricky Starks taking the L, but hopefully he gets a justice due against Juice Robinson when they have their match for the tournament.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. Seeing Ricky, take the loss, it's never something, amazing, because he's a great young star for the company who should be an even bigger star. But at the same time, it is Jay White getting the victory, and they're building him up. He's a heel. I'm okay with it. But we've got a comment from Drizzy here saying, Shad.
That's why I was laughing. He knows what he means.
I got a gun so big. Oh my gosh. I do that on my other day job. I can't do that right here.
John DeMarco.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. But anyway, guys, on that note, that's the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you're over on YouTube, please give us a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. We're here every day for you, and we'll be back here tomorrow to talk Forbidden Door. If you're on Spotify, a 5-star, please. That would be absolutely fantastic. But thank you to Clark, Shad, and Chaos for joining me here today. It's been a banger of a show, guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy Forbidden Door.